Hello everybody and welcome to Emerald Cottage. This is my place on the internet to talk about all things yarny, crocheting, knitting, sewing, cross-stitch, general crafty shenanigans. Today I've got a new Game of Wool episode chit chat for you. We are now up to episode 4 of Game of Wool. Are you still watching it? Have you given up? Are you enjoying it? Do you think it's dreadful? It's very controversial in all the Facebook groups I'm on, so very mixed reviews. Personally, I'm loving it. I'm not taking it too seriously, as you know from my previous videos. I'm just watching it for a bit of light-hearted entertainment, really. We're on episode 4, and it's Kids Week. We have Tom Daly holding a baby lamb, and he introduces Kids Week and says, "That's why I'm holding a baby lamb." I think it would have been more funny if he'd been holding a baby goat, because a baby goat's a kid, not a lamb. So maybe you missed an opportunity there. Anyway, there are 7 knitters left, and the solo challenge this week is toddler fancy dress. What could possibly go wrong? The judges say it has to be unique, has to have standout design, and has to have lovely stitch work. So we are wowed. So everyone's got to be going wow at it. And it's only crochet. Now, this brings me on to my one little niggle about this programme, and it really is my only niggle because I have been not taking it seriously and just enjoying it for what it is. But my niggle is the fact that they have challenges that are crochet only when it's meant to be Britain's best knitter. And I think if they'd just not done that, if they just not had Britain's best knitter, then it would have been okay, because it could have been knitting or crochet or a combination of both. But because they put their tagline as Britain's best knitter, the world and his wife are going, "Oh, it's not knitting, it's crochet, it's a different craft." And I completely agree, it is a different craft. I think what this show is doing is it's making crochet seem like a subset of knitting. I think I said that before in a previous episode. It's making crochet seem like a subset of knitting, that crochet is a knitting technique, and it's obviously not. It's completely different. So that's my one little niggle about the programme, but let's move on from that. So as I said before, the solo challenge is toddler fancy dress, and it has to be crochet only. They have to make 3 elements. They have to make the main body, some kind of headgear, and some accessories that make the costume instantly recognisable as whatever it's meant to be. And they have 12 hours in which to do this. The judges are looking for originality, structural strength. I guess it's got to withstand a toddler playing in it. And they want maximum impact, and they're looking for something creative and technical. So they're looking for creativity and technical stitches. Or creativity and technique, I suppose. So first we come to Lydia, and Lydia is making a lion, which has been inspired by her kids. So she has twin toddler girls, I believe, and she has said a few times now in the show that she doesn't knit for them. Shock horror. But this week, obviously, she asked her kids, what do you want mummy to design? And they said they wanted a lion, so she's doing a lion. She's making a romper suit in double crochet and trebles in the round, so completely in the round, there'll be no seams. And she's also making a tail, wrist cuffs, and a hood. And she's using a big crochet loop stitch for a big loopy, hairy mane thing on her hood. She shows Tom her little plan, her design, and Tom goes, "Did the kids draw it?" To be fair, it looks like they did draw it. I think they certainly had a go at scribbling on it. Di then tries on the hat when Lydia has done it, so it's all like loop stitches. Di tries it on, Sheila tries it on, and it looks fantastic on her, so it really fits really well, so that's a good sign. It's looking really good. Lovely yellow yarn with orange for the trim, and she's got the tail and the wrist cuffs and the hood all have the loop stitch, so it's very cohesive. We then come to Isaac, and Isaac really wants a badge this week, so he's very, very focused and very determined to get a badge. His outfit for a toddler is an explorer, and it was inspired by his mum, who suggested explorer. He's crocheting an intarsia globe on the back, and he's using a spike stitch for the main fabric of the jacket. So he's making a jacket with a little hat, like a pith helmet is what you call it, I think. and binoculars and a compass. So, yeah, so he's using spike stitch in the main fabric of his vest jacket thing. And the judges appear and seem to really like the spike stitch, so they're quite taken with that. Holger is making a fox, which is inspired by a toy that he had when he was younger. And he's making not stripy. Are they stripy? I think they're blue dungarees with trim on them, I think. I don't think they were stripy. I can't remember now. Anyway, I watched this earlier. I watched it live on Sunday night, and then I re-watched it yesterday to make some notes about it for this episode. So yes, so Holger's making a fox. He's making dungarees, and they've got like a diagonal shoulder strap to hold them up, with crocheted buttons. And he's making little cuffs, a bushy tail, and a headpiece with brushed yarn for like these kind of foxy sideburns, which is quite good. Dipti is making a crayon outfit inspired by a children's book that she has about crayons that come to life or something. And it's basically a tube made with double crochet. There's no shaping. And she's using intarsia, which is new to her, for the lettering. So it looks like a Crayola crayon, you know, those kind of, the main colour, she's chosen orange. So the main colour is orange with black lettering and black wavy lines on it, to look like a Crayola crayon. And she's also making a crayon tip hat. Looks like the tip of the crayon, and a little bag to put your actual crayons in. But there's quite a big deal made about the fact that intarsia is new to her, so I think that's going to be an issue that comes up. Tracy is making a bee. She's using trebles and clusters, and the judges appear to like those a lot. It's a striped body with wings, obviously because it's a bee, and a little crown because it's the queen bee. For the wings, she's using those, they're like, I think they're called curling bands. They're like, what are they made of? They're like that kind of foam material. They've got metal and they're bendable, and you use them to roll up your hair. So like modern hair curlers essentially. So she's using these hair curling bands for her wings. So she's going to crochet around them, and then she's going to have two of them sort of sitting proud on the outfit. But the judges don't look convinced at all by this. So we'll see what happens to like that. We then have Ilsa, who's making a zebra. And she's also making a little hat, and leg warmers as well. And she's making a zebra outfit. It's like stripy waves. So kind of, or wavy stripes, I suppose you'd call them. Stripy waves, wavy stripes. And she's using all sorts of different heights of stitches to give this kind of wavy effect. She says she was inspired by a vintage pattern, and the judges come round to her and say something along the lines of, oh, it's very clever how you've done your wavy stripes, and you've obviously thought about that a great deal and made a great pattern. I don't think she's made a pattern at all. I might be wrong, but I think she's just kind of winging it slightly. So just doing, you know, a double, a half double, a treble, a treble, a double, just kind of increasing and decreasing randomly. Because I think if she'd written an actual pattern, it would be very hard to follow that pattern, because it would be like one double crochet, one half treble crochet, one treble crochet, one da-da-da-da. There'd be no repeating pattern because it's all random. So I'm kind of quite intrigued by this, really. However, it's looking really good and the waves are coming along nicely. Simon is doing a knight's outfit, so he's doing body armour in a granny stitch, which is quite simple, and to make it look a bit like chainmail. And then he's making a helmet in double crochet, and he's making a mace, which he's going to make through loops of double crochet, like looped together a bit like paper chains, with a kind of mace ball thing on the end. He has written a pattern, so that's good. He's quite organised this week, but he's concerned about the simplicity of his stitches because it's only really double crochet and granny stitch, so there's no fancy texture going on here for his. Tom then brings in a piñata and starts destroying it. It's just the kind of segue bits with Tom are all just so random. So in today's episode, he does a cartwheel and he does a roly-poly, and then, as I say, he brings in a piñata and starts bashing it blindfold, destroys it at the second blow, so it didn't last very long, probably because he's so strong with his like upper body strength for diving. We then see Dipti. Dipti is struggling with lettering, and the judges look very concerned. They examine it very closely and they say, oh, not sure about this, and oh, it doesn't look very good, and it's all very serious and very, you know, like this kind of tone of voice and very quiet. And they say to her, you know, you really need to tidy this up a bit. So she's like, right, tidy it up, tidy it up. We're at the halfway point, and everyone else is working on their accessories except for poor Dipti, who's still working on her letters. She's doing this definition that the judges want to see, and she's doing it by outlining the letters in like a very long running stitch. Simon's mace is complete and looking good. It's swinging around nicely, and that's not an euphemism. And Tracy's wings are too heavy as expected, so she's making some kind of brace type plate to mount them on that'll attach it to the body of the bee to stop it from gaping too much. So it'll be interesting to see if that works or not. Another mad segue with Tom where he's sitting in a paddling pool of yarn and chucks a yarn ball at everybody. Then we have everyone madly attaching tails and surface elements. Ilse's doing a lovely little bit of eyeshadow. So she's got the eyes for her zebra are, she's got the whites of the eyes with black pupils, but she also crochets like a pink circle, and she offsets one circle against the other so that the back circle in pink looks like eyeshadow above the eye. It's a really clever technique, and it makes them sit quite proud as well, which is quite nice. Holger is frantically brushing his sideburn bits with his little, like a little hand carding device almost. And Isaac's busy making his compass, having made his binoculars already. Then we see the main event, the toddlers playing in the outfits. And oh, they look so cute. So there's lots of pictures of them running around, and one of them looking through the binoculars, and they just look so cute. They're really sweet. So I think all the outfits were very successful, and not only in terms of what they looked like, but what the children obviously were happy to wear them. So that was good. Now it's for the judging. So first of all, we have Holger, which was the fox, remember? So they loved the brushed fluff for the sideburn type things. They said the crocheted buttons were a success. They really liked those. They were looking for originality, and he delivered that. So they were very pleased with his. They then come to Tracy, the queen bee. They loved the cluster texture in the main body, which they said lifted it from being otherwise just a striped body, but the clusters added something to it. They were sad that the buttons weren't crocheted, and they said the wings were too heavy and didn't look like wings. I mean, they did look like wings, but they were too heavy. They were kind of doing what she didn't want them to do, which was falling backwards and gaping and stretching the back of the outfit. So I think the hairband things were just too heavy for the main outfit. They then come to Lydia's and say, wow, they loved the loop stitch detail, tying it all together. Because remember I said they had the loop stitch detail in the head and the cuffs and the tail and the ankles. So it made it very cohesive. But again, not crocheted buttons, which they were disappointed with. And they said they didn't think the lion suit was super original. So I don't think any of them were super original, really. I mean, they were all just kind of kids' outfits. It's I suppose how they delivered them was how they delivered them was what made them original, not the actual idea in the first place. We then come to Simon, who made the knight's outfit. They liked the helmet. They said it was very good construction. They noticed that he's planned, so he's written a pattern this week, and they noticed that. They noticed that he's used different crochet stitches, and they loved the mace, which was very successful with the kids playing with that. And Di gives it a swing. So she's swinging her mace around. And they said that he really stepped up this week, so they're very impressed with that. Ilse's zebra, the judges said it's a lot of fun. They like the different stitches for the uneven lines. They said that she's very careful, like I said earlier, they said she's very carefully worked out each stitch in this pattern, and I don't think she has. Could be wrong, and Ilse, if you're watching this, I'm very sorry if I am wrong. And they said that the eye detail was exceptional, with the attention to fine detail being amazing. So they were really impressed with Ilse's. We have then Isaac's explorer outfit. The judges love it. They love everybody this week. They said that the entire show is beautiful, very clear, and very good. And there's very nice engineering in the binoculars and the compass. So they really like that. And the nice engineering in the hat as well. He's got like a twisted stitch to make it look like a kind of seam running down the pith helmet. It's very clever. So they love those. And they said the compass and binoculars were a lovely surprise. Then we have Dipty. I think Dipty's the last one. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Dipty was the last to be judged. They said it was very sweet and nicely engineered, but they're not happy with the intarsia. They're not happy with the outlining at all, and they're not saying very much. They're very kind of very thoughtful and considered and serious. They say the whole thing is oversized, the concept's too simple, and there's not enough shape or form. So they're really quite down on poor old Dipty. And Dipty then cut to Dipty saying she feels that she's maybe reached her peak, or that she's out of her depth possibly. So that was the solo challenge. And then we come to the team challenge. So this week's team challenge is they have to make a wall hanging for a kid's bedroom. They're split into 2 teams, one team of 3, which is Tracy, Isaac and Ailsa, and then one team of 4, which is Dipty, Holger, Lydia and Simon. It's got to be imaginative, it's got to be in different panels, it's got to be interactive and sensory, and there's an element of blind design to this. So say the 3-person team has got to make 3 panels, 1, 2, 3, but they've got to design them independently so they don't know what the other ones have designed, and then bring them all together. So they do that each team draws out their kind of design, which of course create these weird and wacky wonderful creatures. And then team 1, which was Dipty, Holger, Lydia and Simon, they decide to make a sea creature, and they've got the very top coming out of the sea with a sky background is Simon's, which has got a head with a zip mouth and a pom-pom nose. Then it's got Lydia, which is a body which has got tentacle arms and a zip-up vest. Then Dipty's making a crochet panel with removable swimming trunks, and Holger's doing the last panel with intarsia feet being on the bottom of the seabed. So it's like seabed, sea, sky. So quite different elements, but lots of interactive stuff going on. Team 2, which is Tracy, Isaac and Ailsa, they decide to do the same background colour to give it some cohesion, I think. Yeah, so they give these, there are 3 elements, the 3 panels, the same background colour for some cohesion. And Tracy does a triangle head and face with lots of sensory embellishments like eyes and bows and what have you. Isaac then does circles, but like a caterpillar body almost for the body, and he's going to put in lots of texture in his. And then Ailsa does an intarsia skirt with lace-up shoes and a little animal with a jingly bell on it. So then there's lots of chat amongst Tom and the judges about the background of these 2 wall hangings. So they're very different approaches. So team 1 has not got the same background at all. Indeed, Dipty is crocheting hers, while the rest of them are knitting. But team 2 has gone for the same background, as I said earlier, to add some cohesion to it. Judges said the joining could go wrong, so they want to see a nice join between each of them. And they also asked for playful and imaginative, but they could go overboard. So they wanted a fine balance between enough interest and not completely Tracy-esque, over-the-top embellishments. There's a scene where Dipty's panel, which is crocheted, doesn't match the size of Lydia's, her teammates, in the same width. So Dipty has to rip it back and start again, which is a bit of a shame. But obviously somebody went wrong with their measurements in the first place, and I think it probably was Dipty. Not looking good for Dipty this week, is it, really? Tom then chats to team 1 and then does a cartwheel over to team 2. And these segues with him are just hilarious. So he asks team 2 about what their interactive elements are, and there's a deathly silence. They just say nothing. And he's like, you must have some interactive elements, surely. They're like, well, we've got some fuzzy textures. It's then the halfway point, and Tom says something like, oh, no one wants to play with me. And then it's just a really awkward moment where nobody says anything, and it's very awkward. So I think Tom as the host he's getting better, and he's getting into his role a bit more, but there's still a bit of awkwardness there, I feel, because obviously he's new to presenting, so I don't know if he's maybe not connecting with all the contestants properly, or if it's too staged, I don't know. But yeah, it seems to be a bit kind of awkward, those little elements. At the after the halfway point, we go to team 2, and we see that Tracy and Ailsa and Isaac have done their plain cream background, and they put a nice border around it to stop it rolling in. And it's looking very, very cohesive, but not very imaginative, because there's not much going on in it really. Whereas Team 1 is the complete opposite, much more interactive, but they haven't thought about how it goes together at all. It's the final hour and they're joining, and they have to hang it from wooden dowels to hang the wool hanging up. And Team 1 are still finishing their panels, they're not even ready for joining yet. Team 2 are very calm and call themselves the Zen team. And then Tom roly-polies over to Team 1. It's all about the Tom and his gymnastics this week, very bizarre. Team 1, which is the 4 panels, they're all the separate ones, are very frantic and are roughly sewing the top panel to their dowel. And then the time is up, and it's been 8 hours, and they say 36,000 stitches. That's quite impressive, isn't it? And again, remember, it's judged blind, the team challenge, and the wall hangings are hung up and the judges are brought in. The 2 wall hangings are very different. They're very interesting and definitely childlike in their nature. I think it's very easy to look at them and think, oh God, they're a bit crap. But I think children would actually love them. They're very fun and colourful, and they look like a child's drawn it. So from that point of view, they do look very childlike. So I think they're really good. I think they're very imaginative, and I love them. Particularly the one with the cream background, I think definitely looks the best. It's got the most cohesion, like we've already said, and it's got lots of different elements in it as well, whereas the Sea Creature team with 4 people in it looks a bit ramshackle. And I think a big part of that is because of 2 things: because the background colours are different, and also because Dipty's was crocheted, the others are knitted, so they're all quite different. Anyway, Team 1, which has got the different panel sizes, they've got a zip-on jacket, which is done really nicely. They've got a zip-on mouth that makes them all laugh, but it's not cohesive, and the sewing of the dowel rod is not good. The panel joining is not brilliant, so the judges are quite down on that one. Team 2, that feels a much neater concept. They've created the uniform wall hangings, no tension problems, and they say it's beautifully executed, but not as interactive. There's no little pouches or surprises, so they're a bit disappointed with that. So then we have the announcement for which Team 1, and Team 2 wins, which is the 3-person panel with the cream background, wins. And they say again it was judged blind, but I kind of got a bit of an issue with that. So surely when they came in and they saw Team 1 sitting together with 4 people and Team 2 sitting together with 3 people, they could work out which team was which because of the number of panels. So I don't know at what point they were able to see the team groupings together, or if they judged it in a separate room, or I don't know. But anyway, they love Team 2, and Team 2 wins, obviously, because it's got more cohesion and a bit of interactivity. And Tom says constitulations to them. Constitulations. Oh dear, dear, dear. So we're on to who has impressed and who has not impressed this week. So they say that Isaac has impressed. He's showing a lot of progression from his intarsia the other week, which was not very good, to this week where his intarsia was in the week 1 challenge on the crocheted sofa cover, and it was very rough. Whereas this week it's very, very detailed. He's done a globe, and he's got like Africa and South America in it, and it's very recognisably the globe of the earth. And also Ailsa has impressed them with her quirky ideas and imagination. So I guess they really like the zebra outfit this week. And then at risk, they say, is Dipty, who tried new techniques in her crane outfit, but it didn't really work, did it? Because it was the intarsia and she really struggled with that. And also Simon's at risk because is he at the limit of his knowledge now, particularly his crochet knowledge? So that's an interesting point, and one which we'll find out about next week, because cast off was Dipty. Oh, poor Dipty. She's very sad to be leaving, but she says she felt out of her depth already. So she was the right person to go this week for sure. And one also thing to say about this week is Di didn't cry. So there was no crying from Di. So there was no hints as to best outfit of the week or big knitter of the week. So that was Oh yeah, that was another thing. The big knitter of the week was Isaac. I forgot to say that. sorry, Isaac. He achieved his goal of getting his badge. So he was really chuffed for that. So that was a big foreshadowing at the start, saying Isaac wanted to get his badge because he got his badge. So he was all happy. So that was really nice. And yeah, that was everything for this week. So next week is knitted food. The traditional knitting lot will be up in arms about that. And then they've got to group challenges to make a textured cardigan. I think it's a group challenge. They didn't say group challenge, they just said and making a textured cardigan. So maybe it'll be one person making the front, one person making the back, one person making the sleeves. I imagine that's how they'll split it up, but it could go badly wrong and not very cohesive at all. So that'll be really interesting to see how that works out. And I'm looking forward to seeing the knitted food because I've got lots of books of crocheted food, but no knitted food. So I'm really intrigued to see how that works. So yeah, so that is everything from episode 4. So we must be halfway through the series by now, which I think is about right, isn't it? So we've got 6 people left after next week, and in the last episode there'll be 3 people, I imagine. So we've got 6, 5, 4, 3, yeah, 4 episodes left. We've had 4, so we're halfway through. So what's everyone's thoughts at the halfway point? Are you all enjoying it? Are you all up in arms about it? Are you just going in with its entertainment point of view, or are you getting all het up about the lack of politically correctness of it all? I don't know what to call it. But yeah, for me, like I keep saying, it's all about entertainment. I love it. It's really just fun. And I think anything that gives knitting and crochet more coverage is a good thing. So that's my take on it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry if it's been a bit of a burble. I'm madly market planning at the minute, so I'm trying to make loads of market toys at the minute and get all that done. So I'm a bit like, oh my God, I've got so much to do for the markets. It's very hard to concentrate on anything else. So I've taken a couple of hours out this morning to record this episode for you. So hopefully you'll find it interesting, and I shall see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.